Her sister wakes her up while she's holding on to her favorite book, and Whitney refuses to get out of bed because she doesn't want to go to the end-of-year party. She feels embarrassed and ashamed. Out of nowhere, she hears the voice of the boy she loves outside, so she steps out and finds Jonah, looking sharp and stylish, coming to take her to the graduation party. For Whitney, it's a shocking surprise because it's the first time Jonah has ever asked her something like this. From their conversation, we realize that Jonah only wants to take her with him to make his girlfriend jealous. But Whitney doesn't notice his arrogance. She rushes inside to get dressed, and her kind sister helps her. Whitney struggles to fit into the dress because of her weight, which is the same reason all the other students usually avoid her. At last, she steps out wearing the glamorous dress that looks like it's about to burst on her, and Jonah takes her hand and leads her to the party. The atmosphere there feels romantic, and Whitney can't believe what's happening, but it becomes obvious that Jonah is focused on someone else. After some dancing, the announcement is made for prom king and queen, and it turns out to be Willow and Jonah. Jonah, full of foolish pride, leaves Whitney behind to wear the crown next to Willow. This happens right in front of Whitney's eyes, and her heart shatters as she sees the love of her life abandon her for another girl. She decides to walk away, but she falls, and her dress rips apart. Willow mocks her, while Jonah stays silent, unable to do anything. Whitney runs back home in tears, heartbroken. The next morning, she heads to their modest tennis court to let off some steam playing with her father. Though modest here means he only has 5 or 6 cars, a mansion, a tennis court, and acres of land. Later, she goes over to the pool at her father's club, grabs a drink, and suddenly realizes Jonah is working there. She tries to hide from him, pretending she just happened to be there by coincidence. Jonah explains that he's working at her father's club because his own dad is punishing him. Then Willow shows up, which annoys Whitney even more, and they brag about how they'll be spending the summer vacation on Willow's father's yacht. Each of them takes their drink, and Willow spitefully tells Whitney, "Don't you dare think that even if Jonah and I broke up, he'd ever look twice at a fat, sloppy girl like you." She walks away, leaving Whitney crushed. Later that evening, we see Whitney at her supposedly humble home with her dad, mom, and sister. They talk about her wish to attend a summer camp, hoping it will help her lose weight and make the boy who dumped her regret it. Her father agrees and drives her there in their humble Volvo. Whitney is excited and happy as they arrive. She heads over to the registration area to fill out her information, only to be shocked when she sees Willow at the camp. She never left on vacation at all. Afraid of being bullied, Whitney decides to run away. She tries calling her mom to come pick her up, even though her dad had just dropped her off and was only a couple of minutes away. Just then, Axel, the athletic guy, walks by and greets her warmly with his charm before walking off, leaving Whitney flustered. That moment makes Whitney quickly change her mind. She tells her mom, "This place is wonderful. It's beautiful, Mom. Bye." We see that Whitney decides to stay at camp because she wants to get to know the handsome guy. Soon, the camp coach gathers everyone to talk. We learn that she's a former beauty queen, famous in the world of fashion, fitness, and everything related to health and shape. She speaks to the group with inspiring words, telling them that this camp will change their lives forever. Then she asks the students to introduce themselves. So let's meet them one by one. First is Nathan, who says he's a social guy who loves summer camps. Then Martina, the hardworking student who enjoys participating in summer activities. Next is Aspen, who dreams of becoming a famous Olympian athlete. After that, it's Willow, who arrogantly says, "Who even said I wanted to be here, Mom?" That's when we realize Willow is the daughter of the famous summer coach herself. Finally, it's Whitley's turn. And though she's shy about admitting she wants to lose weight, she says she came here to make friends. The training sessions and summer activities begin, and the coach's assistant introduces the students to the trainers. During one exercise, Willow deliberately bumps into Whitney, trying to cause problems for her. After training, the coach takes the students to the dining hall. There, she tells Whitney, "I'm so glad you're here. I know you're a smart girl. You graduated top of your class. I'm proud of you, Whitney." Naturally, this makes Willow jealous because it looks like her mother is treating another girl better than her. Whitney sits down to eat with the other girls, who clearly like her a lot, unlike Willow, who sits alone, fuming because no one wants to be around her arrogance. Lunch ends, and it's time for the second workout, which pairs each student with a personal trainer. Whitney's luck brings her together with Axel, the charming athletic guy. She's surprised when he takes her to the lake, ready to train her and help her lose weight. He starts giving her instructions and guidance. But then another female coach shows up, and we find out she's Axel's girlfriend. She pulls him away with her. Later, while the girls are hanging out, they tease Whitney, telling her how lucky she is to have the handsome, athletic trainer working with her. As always, Whitney drifts off into her daydreams, imagining herself as the heroine from her favorite novel. Let me explain something important here, dear viewer. Whitney is a shy girl, withdrawn and scared of everything. In her book, the main character is a fearless, iron-willed heroine. But as you can see, Whitney is like a plain little duckling, a fragile white chick who can't do anything and has no interest in sports. Days go by at camp until one day it's time for tree climbing lessons. Most of the students are terrified, even though the coach encourages them, telling them they must face their fears and be strong. The shock comes when Whitney is chosen to go first. She straps on her safety harness, ties into the rope, and begins her climb. In her mind, she transforms into her book's heroine, Arabelle, and she manages to climb, ascend, and shine, astonishing everyone watching. Unfortunately, when she reaches the top and is supposed to make the final jump, she falls because of her weight. But when she lands, everyone applauds her because she didn't give up and kept going all the way. One day, while Whitney is on her way to training, she meets Willow's famous mother, the camp coach. She greets Whitney warmly and asks her to sit beside her. They talk, and the coach tells her, "Most people come here just to lose weight. But Whitney, I see something much greater in you. You're a smart, hardworking girl with real talent. In my opinion, you have the willpower to do anything." She invites Whitney to sit with her, reflect, and practice a bit of yoga together. As the days pass, a new training challenge arrives. The girls must climb over a tall wooden wall, and whoever makes it across first will be the winner. Willow taunts everyone, saying she dares anyone to beat her. Whitney channels the spirit of Arabella and tells Willow that she will defeat her. Then begins the climb. The challenge is fierce, full of struggle and competitiveness at the highest level. Willow falls first, and unfortunately, Whitney falls right after her. After the training, Axel checks on Whitney and tells her to come so he can give her first aid. He takes her to his room and takes care of her with genuine kindness. To Whitney's surprise, she sees that he's reading her favorite novel. Even more surprising, Axel praises the book, saying it's the best story he's ever read. What amazes her even more is that Arabelle is Axel's favorite character. When Whitney asks him why, he explains it's because Arabelle has a determination that no one can ever break. Whitney admits that ever since she read the novel, she's often felt like Arabella herself. Just as romance is about to spark between them, Axel's girlfriend, the coach, suddenly shows up. Embarrassed, Whitney leaves the room and sneaks away, though she listens in on them, which isn't the right thing to do. Later, Whitney goes to lunch with her friends. There, they overhear Willow mocking Whitney again. This time, Whitney has had enough. She grabs a glass of juice and pours it over Willow's head, and all the students burst into laughter. Willow, of course, doesn't back down and retaliates, starting a wild, destructive food fight. It's an all-out battle that devastates everything in sight. The trainers rush in, and Axel tells the students they'll have to clean up the mess themselves or face consequences. Later that night, Martina speaks with Whitney, hinting at Axel and pointing out that it seems she might have feelings for him. Whitney told her, "No way, he would never like me. Besides, he's in love with Coach Oriana." But Martina assured her, "You're beautiful, like the moon." And Axel already broke up with Oriana because she cheated on him. Now you can be the one to heal his broken heart. The next day, during a run, Whitney injures her ankle, and Axel, the true gentleman full of morals and virtues, decides to help her. He carefully stretches her leg and guides her through some perfect exercises. Whitney, meanwhile, tries to keep the conversation going and gazes at him, hoping to take the place of the girl before her. Axel, speaking to her with charm and elegance, shows his stylish, gentlemanly side, holding firmly to his high principles. After the run, the head coach leads all the students in a meditation and yoga session. Unfortunately for unlucky Whitney, a scorpion crawls onto her leg, but Bob, the coach's friend, manages to remove it in time. After meditation, it's time to learn archery. Axel positions Whitney perfectly and gives her the key instructions so that the chubby girl can finally shoot her arrows with power. She imagines herself as Arabelle and manages to outperform her trainer, Axel, in archery. They walk together afterward along the edge of the lake, and when Whitney teases him about beating him, he playfully threatens to throw her into the water. Later, when she returns, she finds her friends preparing to sneak out to a nightclub for a wild night. Whitney says she has nothing to wear, but clever Martina comes to the rescue, designing her dress from scratch. This is the moment Whitney begins to feel confident and truly see herself as beautiful. And like I said before, dear viewer, you become beautiful the moment you see yourself as beautiful. In any case, the students sneak away, but on their way, they spot Willow's mother talking to her daughter in a not-so-nice manner before leaving her behind. Willow notices the group sneaking out and confronts them, saying, "You're going to the nightclub, aren't you? Either I come with you or I tell my mom." Whitney wanted to refuse, but when Willow pretends to call her mother, they have no choice but to let her join. We then see them all at the nightclub trying out the wild nightlife. A conversation sparks between Willow and Whitney's newfound confidence makes Willow feel intimidated and even afraid, and that's exactly the point, dear viewer. Whitney is transformed from a shy, overweight girl nobody noticed into a confident young woman, liberated and daring, though the key thing is that she finally feels self-assured and free. After some dancing, a guy approaches Whitney to get to know her, and she doesn't turn him down. At that moment, she notices Axel arriving with the girlfriend who was supposed to have cheated on him. To get under Axel's skin, Whitney decides to dance with the other guy, flaunting her confidence to provoke him. And it works. Later, the bartender announces a challenge that everyone must join. One by one, people take their turns and all of them get tossed around in amusing falls until it's Whitney's turn. Now the self-confident girl, still blurring the line between seduction and empowerment, holds on to the mechanical bull for a long time, impressing everyone before finally falling off. Axel immediately rushes over to check on her. After they leave, Axel asks Whitney to stay behind for a moment because he has something to give. He hands her a slip of paper and says, "The guy you were with at the club asked me to pass you his number. You're free to do whatever you want. But honestly, I think you deserve better opportunities than that." Whitney smirks and asks, "What is it, teacher? Are you jealous or something?" She grows bolder and tells him the truth. "You love me." Then she leaves him standing there and goes inside. The next morning, the girls are all running as part of training, with Coach Axel leading the session. Later, he sits with Whitney and shares some French fries his mother sent him. He asks how she feels after last night, joking that she must be hungover and struggling. Whitney replies, "Let me tell you something. Every time I face a hard situation, I feel like Arabella, and that way of thinking helps me get through anything." He tells her, "If you want the real solution, next time close your eyes and imagine yourself, your own shape and details. Picture yourself solving your problems on your own, not Arabelle swooping in to do it for you." After that, we move to another yoga and meditation session. When it ends, the coach asks Whitney to stay behind and talks to her privately. She explains that Whitney needs to finish the camp because she wants her to join the team as a trainer afterward. One of the current coaches will be leaving, and she wants Whitney to take the spot. All of this happens right in front of Willow, who feels a sting of jealousy. Her mother hugs her and says, "Don't be upset, sweetheart. I've got a place saved for you, too." One day on the beach, Axel talks with Whitney in a romantic way, but the moment is ruined when his ex-girlfriend, the one who cheated on him, shows up. Axel quickly stands and distances himself, not wanting her to think he's dating a younger, overweight girl. After the beach, there's a competition between the trainers and the trainees. Whitney manages to grab the red flag and tries to escape, but Axel catches up and pulls her down. When they stand, he apologizes, saying, "Sorry, sometimes I get too competitive. Please forgive me." After training, Whitney runs to Martina, overjoyed, hugging her tightly because she feels like Axel really does like her. Her happiness grows when they look out the window and see Axel arguing with his ex, shouting at her, "You cheated on me, you deceived me, and I will never forgive you." One evening, Whitney is out running and stops at the beach. She suddenly decides to dive into the water completely there, just as she was born. Unfortunately for her, Axel shows up to check on her. Thinking she's drowning, he jumps in and pulls her up, making sure she's safe. In the process, he panics, believing he's lost his necklace. Whitney, with grace and determination, manages to retrieve it for him. Afterward, they sit by the fire to warm themselves, and Axel opens up about his father, a colonel, a man of principles and values who inspired his love for sports and his desire to help people. He told her that life isn't just about material things. Money and possessions don't last forever. What truly matters is helping people overcome their hardest days, pushing through their fears, and finding the strength to rise above them. He explained that fear often brings out the worst in people, but some are able to turn that darkness into something good. Just like you, Whitney. She felt deeply flattered and shy at his words, but as their conversation drew to a close, Axel admitted, "I just got out of a relationship, and I'm not sure about what we have." Whitney's heart sank, and she pulled away. He tried to make amends, but she snapped, "To you, I'm just some silly, naive girl you're using to move on. I'm nothing more than a rebound. You're treating me like a distraction, a way to forget her." She added that she knew he'd been using her to get back at his ex, then left him and walked away in tears. Back in her room, she cried as her friend tried to comfort her. Early the next morning, she packed all her clothes into her bag. Her days of happiness now turned into sorrow and gloom. She went to the office to retrieve her phone, only to run into Willow. The two clashed because Willow didn't want her to leave. Whitney confessed, "I thought I would change when I came to a place like this camp, but clearly I failed." Willow replied, "On the contrary, you're better than all of us. I want you to forgive me, Whitney." When Whitney asked why she had treated her so badly, Willow answered, "Because you deserve better, Whitney. You deserve someone who loves you exactly as you are." She even revealed that she had broken up with Jonah, calling him shallow and foolish. With her words, Willow convinced Whitney to stay at camp. Later, when the head coach finished addressing the group, Axel approached Whitney. He apologized and told her, "You're beautiful, Whitney. You don't need to lose weight, and you don't need to try so hard to impress any man." Then he walked away, leaving her in thought. The girls soon rushed off to practice their favorite activity, running. As Whitney ran, she envisioned Arabelle running beside her until suddenly the image faded away. For the first time, Whitney felt she had let go of that crutch and had finally become herself. As camp days come to an end, Whitney says goodbye to her friends. She goes to Axel's room to bid him farewell, but he isn't there. Returning home with her father, her mother tells her, "Sweetheart, you've changed. You've become radiant." Whitney then notices her sister looking sad and soon learns that her wedding reservation has been canceled with no venue available. Whitney suggests they hold the wedding in the backyard, and the family loves the idea. They put the plan into action. On the wedding day, Whitney dresses in an elegant gown, beautifully styled, and manages to encourage her nervous sister, who is too shy to walk out in front of the guests. Together with their father, they escort her out. That evening, the guests are all enjoying themselves, and Whitney's camp friends are present too. Jonah, her old crush, is there as well, but this time she pays him no attention. Whitney stands to give a toast. She says, "I used to be a silly, naive girl who thought appearance was everything. I believed I had to change my body and lose weight to be beautiful and attract handsome guys. But what I discovered is that we need to change on the inside before we ever worry about the outside. Character matters far more than looks. I used to be afraid of how I looked, but one day someone told me that fear brings out the worst in people. Yet good people can turn that fear into something positive, bringing out the very best in themselves." As she finishes her words, she sees Axel arriving at the wedding. She goes to him, and he tells her, "I've realized I truly love you, Whitney. You're not just someone I used to get over my past. You're smart, talented, and you have a beautiful soul. I love you, Whitney." The film closes with Whitney and Axel dancing together at the wedding, while Jonah stands alone, ignored and forgotten. A true story with a lesson to remember.